Well, that was an interesting morning. Okay, so good morning and welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. We're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together enjoying a full face, easy makeup tutorial. And we're going to be working on some beauty on the inside and some beauty on the outside with a memory verse from the book of James as well. Okay, hold on. I hear my YouTube is going crazy over here, so let me get that turned down. There we go. Okay, so my name is Wendy, and it is a joy to get to hang tight with you this week and for the next quite a few weeks as we work through Color Me James, studying our way through and memorizing our way through the book of James. So our easy makeup theme for today is going to actually be an answer to a question. So how do I create a glamorous burgundy shimmer look? So we're going to be doing that, although our lips will be matte, not shimmery, but that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be playing with some burgundy. So grab your color palettes. Today I am using Juvia's Place Culture 2 and your brushes and some lashes, and then get on back here and let's get going.
A little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. First days at 8, can't wait.
All right, I see quite a few of you in here already, so let me get that chat turned on. Go ahead and give me a shout out. Let me know where you are coming from today. Alrighty, so I set a couple things up a little bit different today. We are going to cross our fingers and pray that they work according to plan and things are a little bit easier on my end. So let's test that out with, yay! Okay, so our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And then last week, well, actually, just kidding. We're working through Color Me James, so that's right here. You've got a couple of different ways that you can have this book. There's a spiral version, which is my personal favorite and what I'm working out of. Then on Amazon, there's a perfect binding. We also have the ebook. Now, if you are a member of the Cherished Queen on YouTube, then you get the ebook as part of that membership. So that pretty much pays for itself the first month. So get on over to YouTube, enjoy a little more to the study as we work through that on our YouTube membership platform. So what was our verse that we worked on last week?
Trials come, but God remains. Faith's not broken, faith's made strong. Through it all, I'm not alone.
Okay, now get ready. Here comes the first part of our verse.
Consider it a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life is forced into the open and shows its true colors.
True colors.
Okay, now we're going to have that chorus. We'll get to the second half.
Trials come, but God remains. Faith not broken, faith made strong. Through it all, I'm not
Okay, here we go. Second part of our verse from last week.
So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work, so you become mature and well-developed, not deficient in any way.
There you go. And that was our verses from last week. So what are we doing this week? We are going to continue working on through the book of James. So we're going to be working on 5 through 8 this week. So I love that these are conversations. And while the image has it kind of broke, it would be one person talking. But here's our verse for this week. So James 1, 5 through 8. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. See the exclamation point on there? So give that some emphasis. He loves to help. You'll get help and won't be condescended to for it when you ask for it. Ask, believingly, hold on, let me see where we are up there. Ask boldly, believingly, without second thoughts. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master that way. Adrift at sea, keeping all of your options open. And that's James 1, 5-8. That's what we'll be working on this week. All right. So this week I told you we're going to be playing in the Culture 2 palette. That's right over here. And all of these products can be found on my website, a little bit of makeup at awholelotofjesus.com, and then you can go to the shop. So ever interested in a particular thing, in the show notes, all the products are going to be listed as well. Whatever podcast platform you're on should have that in the show notes as well. I know on YouTube they're all Amazon links. So that way you can get to everything that we're using. So we're going to have that verse scrolling across the bottom of the screen there as we dive into our burgundy shimmer look for today. Okay, so those of you who are members on this, have fun. Your badge should be showing, and you've got this special emoji, so make sure you take advantage of those. I'm going to start out with the Professional Primer. This is from Benefit Cosmetics. So we're just going to give that a little bit of shake. This doesn't have like a pump or anything, so you got to kind of guesstimate it. I'm just going to go with about that much there. Let me actually do a smidge more. It's a little cold today, so we're just going to work this between the center of our fingers. Any place that you experience separation in your foundation, maybe you have unevenness of skin texture, fine lines, wrinkles, and then around the lips. So as we get older, you know, you get that kind of wrinkly skin funky thing happening around your lips. So go ahead and put that around the edge of the lips so that will keep everything in and not creeping out around your lips. This is also going to help because this is mattifying. This is going to help with any shine control. If that is something that you concern yourself with. I have combo skin, so even at my age, it is something that I have to worry about just a little bit. So now that we got on there, our next thing is going to be our concealer. So this is the Bye Bye Under Eye. I am the shade 11 Light Nude. Get to your nearest Ulta, get a look at that. Find the exact right shade. You want your concealer to be 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation. So, you know, you can go ahead and bring your foundation in with you or just know what it is if they carry it. That way you can make sure you get a good match. So we're just using a little ribbon there. And that is going to go any place you have something you want to conceal. So for me, that's going to be redness. Oh, man. Sorry, y'all made me snore. Okay, so that's going to be some darkness here. I got redness going on down the center of my nose. There's a little redness on the top of my cheeks. So when I get to blending this out, I'll blend that out a little bit. I'd rather have a little bit extra on there that I can blend out than not put enough and you don't have enough to go around. So that is what we're going to do. This works better if you give it just a second to sit and warm up to your body temperature, and then it's going to blend out nicely. It's kind of thick when it just comes straight out of the tube. And a little bit of that goes a long way. So that one little tube, while it looks small, I seriously have had this tube already for about, I want to say 6 months, and it's still barely used. I believe it has a 24-month shelf life. So, oh, great question. How do I know that? On the back of the product, let me see if I can get to it. Right there. Will the camera focus on it? Oh, you can see that little image right there that looks like a can popping open. It's a little too close. The camera's not picking it up. But this says 24M right there. And the 24M or 12M or 6M or whatever it says there, that is going to tell you how long that product is good for once you open it. So this has already been open. I got 1.5 years left. Okay. So, I mean, if you're inclined, you could take like a white Sharpie or a Sharpie or something and label the date you opened it or the date it expires so you can keep track of that. Most of the time, though, you're going to use a makeup thing up before that ever even happens. And I try to replace my eyeshadow palettes Yeah, you should probably do it every year, but really about every 2 years I will discard because colors go out of style, new things come in, and you can't keep every single palette that you own, right? Okay, so I am using the Juvia's Place. This is a JP 102 foundation brush. So we're just going to blend out that now set here very long enough to be blendable concealer. I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to blend it over my lid today. We don't really need an eye primer, so we're just going to let that concealer do that for us. And then I'm going to blend that over to the top of my cheek, and you can see how that redness is now gone. So again, blending the corner out to the eyelid, and then blending the under eye, and then onto the top of the cheek. And I like to take that sharp corner and do that right under the eye. That's what's going to help you from getting any funky crinkle stuff falling into the line. Between the primer that you used and that under the eye, you should be good for not having any cakiness happening in fine lines and wrinkles there. So that concludes our concealer. So we're going to move on to the foundation. Today I'm going to use the Lancome Tinty Doll. I'm the shade 225N. Between the two, so I've been using the Juvia's Place foundation. Love it, but I don't think it plays as nice with glasses ruts. I do like the Lancome for glasses ruts. So I don't know what else you call them, but if you wear glasses, maybe you're on and off with reading glasses all the time, or you're like me and you wear like traditional glasses, then this would be a good foundation for this. It is a full coverage foundation, well, medium full. So I love the coverage on it, but it just treats those tracks a little bit nicer. You're still going to get them. They're just not quite as noticeable. So we're going to take that Lancome and we're just going to give one pump right there. And then we're going to just kind of tap it around. We're going to do the bottom from the eyes down with that. It's okay. Good to have you. Everybody's being very quiet today. We were talking about how to know when a product expires once you open it. So you'll have to go back and watch the beginning of the video for that. My camera wouldn't quite pick up the little graphic, but it'll give you an indicator of where to look for it on your products. Okay, so we're just blending that foundation into that concealer. Kind of a tapping, blurring sort of motion. I'm just going to make sure we don't get any streaks or lines. And just getting it into that hairline there so we have a nice natural end to it. Now for the forehead. I'm going to take that. I'm going to do about a third of a pump, half a pump. Well, yeah. There you go. And then I'm going to hold my hair up. And we're going to do the same thing on the forehead we did on the bottom half of the face. So we're going to just use that, work it up into that hairline. Just kind of bumping it up in there, blending it. If you have dark hair, this might work a little bit better for you if you use a headband. I'm going to play a little charades today. What do you think this means? Okay. All right, we're going to blend that around our shadow and then into that concealer that ended right here. Okay, now while I dearly love the setting powder I've been using, it is kind of fluffing around my room here. So I've decided to switch over to a puff as opposed to the brush. If you love a brush though, I dearly love this JP 101 tapered brush from Juvia's Place. But for today, we're going to be using the Beauty Blender Puff. Now it's kind of spongy on one side and then it's nice and soft and fluffy on the other side. So we're going to be using the Professional. This is the, what is that called again? Power Powder. I know, it's such a weird name. But love the blurring effect of this. It's a very, there's no talc in here, so that's a good thing. But it's very fluffy and loose. And even when you tap out that brush, you still get a when you put it on. So hence the going back to a puff. So I'm just going to tap it in there and then tap it off. And then we're just going to tap it around the eye area. Going right up everywhere you put that concealer and foundation. We're going to make sure we catch the corner of that eye too. There you go. Yeah, lots of less. Wait. Less fluff that way. There we go. And then we're going to just tap it. Going to go under the chin so we can make sure we're blending out nicely. Everything's going to look seamless and it's not going to look a stop and start to your makeup. And we're pressing and then lift it out just a smidge to blur it. This may be a weird way to say this, but you know, we all have the facial hair, right? That like fine peach fuzz stuff. So when you lift it up, you should kind of feel like a little tickle on your cheek because you're hovering onto those facial hairs. And I do keep mine trimmed to a minimum. I love those little razors. You know what? We should probably do that one time. One time we'll talk about that. One of the ways that you can help de-age yourself pretty quickly is removing the peach fuzz on your face. You know, this right here on the side, it's a hormonal thing. When you're pregnant, you get it. When you get older, you don't get the baby, but you get the hormones. So removing that, seriously, that will take like 10 years off of yourself. And then that's not even to speak of the whiskers that we all get in our chin. We're all above 30 here, so we can talk about this openly. You know, the chin hairs that come as you get older. It's ridiculous. So this is gonna keeping those trimmed down to a minimum is definitely going to help as an anti-aging help as well. Pretty much you can get it waxed. I personally don't prefer a fully shaved look. It sort of comic bookifies you, if that's a word, I don't know. But I don't like the way that a fully shaved, but when you use those little shavers, they leave just a little nub, just enough to hold your foundation. Yes, absolutely. I love those things too. Dermaplaner, thank you. That's the word. Yes. So that is the word, yes. The one that I have, which I'll have to look and see what brand it is because I've used like 3 or 4 of them. It actually has what looks like a little wire cover over the blade. So you're not actually blading on your skin, but you're going to see like that hair fluff off. My objective is not actually the dermaplaning, which is really a skin exfoliating. My goal is a hair defluffing. So depending on your goal will depend on which one of those tools you will use. Anyways, we'll make a session about that this week and talk about dermaplaners and how to use them. And, you know, I don't think I've ever cut myself with one of them. But, you know, I guess if you weren't careful, you could do it. But definitely, that's one of the things, number one, to reduce aging is to remove those extra fine facial hairs. Okay, so back to what we're doing here. So, natural, full coverage, smooth look. Now we need to put in some contouring because we have just made ourselves look all pale and white. Well, I guess that depends on your color. Okay, so I'm going to be using no matter what color your complexion is, the KVD Shade and Light Refillable Contour Palette has a color for just about everybody in here. I'm going to be living on these two here, and then we're going to tap in this one for just a second to the very outside. So we're going to start out. This is a foundation brush. We're going to use this side here for the dark, this side here for the light. So we're going to start out on the flat side. You're just going to get a little bit on there. We're going to tip that up. So the side I just powdered is up. We're going to go from the top of the ear in sort of a U motion. And we're going to go to about the corner of the eye. We're going to stay above that hollow of the cheek. And then you're going to go up right beside your hairline there. You determine the level of depth that you want. The darker that you go from your natural color, the more glamour and contrast you're going to get. So totally your call. You want to be a little more classic? bring those two colors together. Just go like maybe 1 to 2 shades lighter, darker than your foundation. You want it to be a little more dramatic and glamour, then you're going to increase that, maybe 4 shades darker than your foundation. Still using that flat side. We're going to go right up into that hairline up here. And then I'm just going to kind of go up and down a little bit. That's going to soften the edge so you don't end up with like a line across there. Now we're going to switch to the skinny side of this. We're just going to brush that across. We're going to go from the ear to about the corner of the mouth. You're going to keep a neutral face so that we can actually truly get up underneath that jawline. And just brush back and forth gently. And do the same thing on the other side. And that's just going to increase that shadow under that jawline to make it look like you have more jaw than you do. And remove the harsh appearance of any extra baggage you got right there. Okay, so keeping in that skinny side, we're going to go from the corner of the eye there, run that right down the side of the nose all the way to the end. This one you really want to go only about 2 shades darker, even if you're using a darker one over here. So we're just going to go beside there. Okay, if one is using a bronzer, here, let me get this on here. If one is using a bronzer, is the placement the same as for a contouring powder? Yes. So depending on, great question. So typically contouring powder is going to be more to the cooler side. Bronzer is going to be more towards the warm side. I mean, you can do it with both. It really depends a lot on your complexion and can it handle that extra warmth? It is going to bring in, you know, that warmth on there. So it depends on the look that you want. And it also depends on what is the undertone of your complexion. So play with it and see what it is that you like. You know, a store like Ulta or Sephora where you've got all these testers that you can use and play with. You know, do it on the back of your hand. I mean, you can do it on your face, but it's a little gross because, I don't know. I used to work there and the testers, yeah. So, but your hand is going to, and the inside of your arm right here is going to have the same undertone that your face is going to have. So use it on there. See what you like, what you prefer. I prefer to be a little cooler, which is what I love about this palette because it is a contouring palette as opposed to a bronzer. So, long answer to your question. Okay, so now we've got all of that part done. I'm going to tip the tip right in here just a couple of times because that's like 4 shades darker. And I'm just going to go right here on the outside and just give a little, I guess it's a backwards L right here, just to kind of enhance that outside. I don't want the whole thing dark like that, but I do want to give a little on the outside. Okay. Now I'm going to take the fluffy here. We're going to go in this right here. Going to go up the center of the face. Making sure we hit that Cupid's bow. Right on the top of the cheek. Beside the brow bone. You don't have to be like super precise with this. You're going to have blush over this. You're going to be doing all kind of things. So you can be a little messy. You don't got to worry about it. Okay, so we're going to set that brush aside. We're going to grab a powder foundation brush, and I'm going to grab the Juvia's Place. This is the volume 4. Now we're using a lot of wine today. We're going to have wine on our eyes. We're going to have wine on our lips. So today I'm going to be using this lighter color here. It's going to bring the focus to those other 2 parts and kind of detract from the cheeks just a little bit. So we're not like, woo, with color. Okay. Although there is a time for that. Today's just not that. Okay, so we're going to take that brush blush. We're going to get it on there. And we're going to go between the bronzer and the highlighter. And then between the bronzer and the highlighter. So this is just going to give you a little hint of pink. Just to give you a little bit of color on the cheek and bring everything together. Make everything look like it belongs. Then we're going to get a little more of that on the tip. Go right up there in that hairline. Gonna add a little color there. Whatever you have on your brush, just hit the tip of your nose and your chin. We don't want to like add too much color there. We just want a little something. There you go. Okay. You have now contoured and blushed. Woo! Okay, so we'll add a little bit of shimmer highlighter at the very end. So what do we have right now? Right now we have let's say our verse together. So it's a little bit long today. We're gonna wait till that kind of rolls around with us. I like this verse though. I feel like it's very storytelling. So anytime you see an explanation point in the Bible, that means that there is some emphasis on it. So as you say it, I want to hear your emphasis. So what is the he says, hold on, I don't want to miss it. Okay, we'll have to have that conversation in a second. Okay, here it goes. You ready? If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. There's the explanation point. You'll get his help and won't be condescended to for asking for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master. Is it master or father? Yes. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master that way. And that is James 1:5-8. It's always interesting when you've like memorized something in a different translation and then you're trying to memorize it in another translation. Last week was the most difficult for me because I kept wanting to say for the, like twice in the verse. I kept wanting to add a for the, and then it would break my pace and I would trip myself up. So anyways, I hope you're having fun with that. And man, did I love the song from last week. I got to tell you, I got feedback from a few people about the songs, and I am so delighted that they are helping you, that you're enjoying them. And even my mom came back and said how much she liked last week's song. I thought she wasn't going to like it because it's got a little kind of rappy section in there, but who knew? Okay. So we're gonna do our lips now. I am using the Juvia's Place. This is a Luxe liner, and this is the shade Wine. And then we're gonna be using Urban Decay. This is actually old packaging, but this is the Hex. This is a Mega Matte, and this is just a nice wine-ishy pink sort of color. So that is Hex, and then the Juvia's Place Wine. So we're going to grab that. We're going to make sure that we've got, this one's a retractable, which I love because you don't got to sharpen it and you don't waste any product. So we're going to give it just a little bit of tip on there. And we're going to start out in the Cupid's bow. So we're just going to give that little bit of V there so we can make sure we've got that nice and chiseled out so we can get a nice, beautiful lip. Then we're going to round that out to the outside. We're going to straddle just on the outside of our lip line, like you are walking on that line. You're going to get a little extra real estate. Here we go. And you can do it in one smooth swipe like I do, or if you feel like you need to kind of, the one thing about doing that is you're going to get a little bit of a jiggly line. So I prefer just one fell swoop. If you get it off just a little bit, no worries. You can go back and do it again. Here we go. And then we're just going to look and make sure both sides are kind of even. Pretty good. And I'm going to take in the bottom center. For whatever reason, I like to go a little bit further in the bottom. I feel like you can get away with a little more outlining in the bottom than you can in the top. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but here we go. Now we're going to round that out to the outside corner. All right, checking to make sure we got both sides even. Okay, now this is about the same color as the lipstick we're gonna wear, but for wearability and to increase its stick-to-itness, we're gonna come just to the inside of that line we just did, and we're gonna use a little bit lighter pressure and just kind of feather line to the inside. So this one you can kind of feather color. There you go. Nice. Because they're about the same color, we don't need to do any like extra blending or anything. We're just going to go straight in with the lipstick. So again, this is the Urban Decay. This is the shade Hex. What did I say it was called? Mega Matte? Yeah. All right. So we're just going to fill in the entire lip we just outlined. Nice. Definitely a beautiful wine color. Oh, yeah. I need to recolor my hair and get all that going up there. But yeah, that is a beautiful color. I don't know that I would, personally, I don't know that I would do that every day, but it's a nice change of pace. Also, your teeth will look really white alongside of a darker lipstick. So if you're going somewhere and you know they're going to be doing pictures, put a dark lip shade on. I mean, I wear black sometimes. I'm not necessarily encouraging that, but a dark shade, a red makes your teeth look white. The wine makes your teeth look white. So there you go. All right. So we're going to grab our Culture 2 palette for today. And here's where we're going to be living. We're going to start out in some Palm Kennel. And then we're going to add a little Safari. Then we're going to play in, let's do Jollof next. And then we're going to add the Chua right here. And then, is that the final color? Chua? No, this one here, Dashiki. Okay, so Palm Kennel, Safari, Chua, Dashiki. That is where we are going to be today. So I am super excited about this because this was just... for those of you in the Beauty and Grace Insiders, you saw the image, and I loved this one. This one, I believe, is the third image on the chart that we're going to be doing today. So we're going to start out with a Morphe M441. This is just a nice fluffy brush, and we're going to take that. We're just going to dip that right there, and we're going to get it on that upper brow bone. This is just going to give us kind of a fleshy color and give us something to blend into. It's like a non-color color. If your skin tone is different from mine and you need something a little bit darker to blend into, you might consider this one here, the Soitu. I just make up how to say these. It's like reading the Old Testament. I have no idea how you say these. Okay. And then we're going to grab... I'm just going to use, this is a MAC, I want to say 259, something like that. It's just a general eye purpose. We're just going to do a background filler color before we put the main colors on. So I'm going to grab that Safari, and we're just going to get it, well, you can actually do it on both sides of the brush. Just give it a tap out so you don't end up with any fallout. So we're just going to fill in this whole part here. It's just going to give us a nice background color. So it's not actually going to be part of the finished, but it's going to help. It's kind of like when you use a tinted primer when you paint a wall. So we're just going to take this all the way on the bottom 3/4 of the lid. And then we do want to fade it out. So you're just going to blend it up into that kennel that we just put on there. But we're going to go from the end of the lash right here all the way to the top. Same thing on the other side. And then we're just going to blend that one up into here as well. Now, for some of you, that might be all that you need. That might be, you know, what you like there. That's fine. But we're going to use that as our foundation today. Okay. Oh, let me set that over here so I don't do anything crazy. There we go. And now we're going to use, let's do... I just realized I did not grab... Well, let's do this one, I suppose. This is a Morphe M124. And we're going to go into that Jollof right here. And this is going to be our outside color. So I'm just going to get it on one side of that brush. And I'm just going to go on the outside here. We're going to go about halfway on that lid. And then I'm just going to take the top edge of that and work it right on the edge of that safari that we put down. So just do that whole, there we go. And now we're going to do that same thing on the other side. Going halfway across. And we're going to take the tip of that right on that eye socket bone. And we're just going to blend out that nice shimmer of that jollof right there on the top of that. There you go. And you can see how that safari just bolstered up that color. Also gives something for that jollof to hang onto because it is such a shimmery color. Now, at this point, if you have any fallout, just take your fluffy brush and just whisk that away. There you go. And here in Texas, we have got some kind of wind stuff happening. My eyes are watering like crazy. All right, so let's add a little bit of color in that corner there. We are going to be in the dashiki. I am using a MAC, oh my goodness, 210, I think. Just a smudger. I'm just using a bullet tipped smudger. We're just going to go right here with the tip of that on there, right on this outside corner. And we're just going to make a V. Just like that. Same thing on the other side. All right, that one is pretty dark, so we're definitely going to make sure we don't have any fallout on that one. Now we're going to take, this is a thinner, more of a detail brush. This is an M431. We're going to take this one, and this is where we're going to go in the chua right here. So this one, we're going to go on the inside corner, right on top of that safari. And we're just going to add that gold shimmer all the way up to that brow bone, or eye socket bone. And we're going halfway and meeting that jollof. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it over just a little bit right there in the middle. Right there like that. You can go and take that chua. We can get a little there in the corner. We'll play with that when we get to the bottom part. Okay, so that is about all that you need for the top. But what we're going to do, I have hooded eyes. I know we've had this conversation before. So what we want to do is make sure that you can see that color peeking up above the fold of the eye. So as I look forward, you can see there's not really very much of that color peeking up above the fold of that eye, right? Right. So we're going to grab that brush that we had again. We're going to grab some of that jollof, and we're going to bring that up just a little bit. There we go. And then let me grab that chua, and let's go ahead and get that over here so we can soften the edge of that jollof on this outside. Okay, now when you look forward, you can see that Jollof peeking above my fold of my eye. So now we're good to go with color. But now we need to do a little something something on the bottom of the eye to kind of tie it all together. So we're going to take this is a Real Techniques 087. Love that this is more of an oval shaped smudger as opposed to the round. We're going to go in that Jollof just right on the tip of that. From the corner of the eye to about halfway. There you go. Now, when you do this yourself and you're not talking through this does not take near as long. It just takes this long while you're, talking through. I'm going to take that same brush and I'm going to go in that dashiki just a little bit. We're going to go on that outside corner and bring that up around. So the more times that you do this, the more you get used to it, the faster you'll get at it. All right. So now we're going to take a smaller smudger. This is a Morphe M508. And again, I encourage you, in the show notes, there's going to be a link to a set of Morphe brushes. I believe this was called Eye Obsessed. And when they bundle the brushes together in a package, it's almost always cheaper. So if you're looking at all these brushes and you're like, oh my gosh, how many eye brushes does she have? Go with a little kit. That'll make it easier and you get just about everything you need. So again, we're taking that 508 and we're going to go in that Chua right there on the tip of that. And we're going to bring it from the corner where we put it and meet it over to that halfway where we just put the Jollof. And that's just going to brighten the inside ever so slightly. Make sure while you got this nice little tiny brush that you got that inside corner nice and good and sparkly. There you go. So now we've added intensity to the outside. We've added some nice light and shimmer and brightness to the inside. And now if we could just get our eye to stop watering, it would be great. Okay, so we're going to continue on with adding that intensity to the outside. This is the Too Faced Killer Liner. This is Killer Black. We're just going to go from the outside corner to the middle. This is just going to be a nice little line. This is waterproof. You can use this on the waterline as well. We're just going to go halfway. We're just trying to give a little intensity there. And then we're going to go on the outside corner about a third of the way in. And not really a line down there. We're just giving like a little something something along that lash line. There you go. Now, if you want to glam it up just a little bit more, you can take that pencil and right there in that outside corner, just give you a little bit on that waterline. There you go. Ta-da! We want to make sure that we give ourselves the best possibility of the cleanest lash application. So I'm going to grab the Too Faced Better Than Sec Liquid Liner. Oh, and there you can see this one has a 6M. So that one expires in 6 months. So we're going to give it a little bit of a shake. You can hear those little balls rolling around in there. That is how the product is going to stay mixed up. We're going to go from the outside edge on the top. And we're just going to give a nice thin line all the way to the inside. This is going to frame out your eye. And it's also going to give you a little line of insurance as you put your lashes on. There you go. Now to the outside corner. just right along that lash line. Okay, so we just have a nice thin clean line going from edge to edge. So while we're waiting for that to dry and set, I'm going to grab my brow product. So whatever brow product it is that you have chosen, you're going to do that now. Some of you like pomades, some of you like pencils, some of you like, what do you call? Brow mascara, which is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm actually using Bad Gal Bang. This is Wild Plum, and I'm going to be using this as my brow product. If you need any help with the shape of your eyebrow, or possibly you don't know what product to use for the look you want, or how to use it when you decide on the one, Ulta has an arch expert, and they can help you with that. That is their job, help you with your brows, beautiful brows. So go ahead and do your brow product now. This mascara works great because it is about the same color as my hair. Although I do need a color touch-up now. I like for my brows to match my hair color. Wow, isn't that crazy? Look at those two sides. So for those of you who think brows don't matter, you can see, oh yes they do. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the other side now. So for those of you trying to mascara on your brow, you're going to make sure that you hover. And if you touch your skin, you just do it ever so gently. I tried mixing this the other day. I think I had suggested this last week. I had tried doing a double application with a pencil and the mascara. That was a no-go. That looked very weird. So, again, just depends on the look that you want. How you're gonna get, what you're gonna do to go about it. Okay. There we go. And get the little eye thingy. There we go. All right. So we are going to go ahead and mascara our lashes now, and then we'll put our false lashes on. So I'm going to be using the Tweezerman Great Grip Onyx. Hold on. Tweezerman Onyx Great Grip Eyelash Curler. And then I'm going to be using the Bad Gal Bang in black for my mascara. Okay, so we're going to start out by curling our lashes. We don't need to be too particular about this because we're going to be wearing the false lashes, but we do still need to do it so that your lashes work up into the false lashes. So we're waiting until that verse scrolls around so that we can use that as our timer for our lash curler. So while you're lash curling, you want to make sure that nothing is pinching. So go ahead and find your sweet spot. There you go. And we're going to say that verse together. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. You'll get his help and won't be condescended to when you ask for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master that way. And that is James 1, 5-8. Okay, other side, find that sweet spot. There we go. Hold on. I'm waiting for it to come around. I guess I was talking ahead of it. Sorry. Here we go. And Crip. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. You'll get his help and won't be condescended to for asking for it. Hold on, I'm ahead of it again. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master that way. James 1, 5-8. Okay, we're going to have very curly lashes this week. So enjoy that this week. Now we're just going to mascara the top first. So we are sweeping up under those lashes, and then we're coming behind the tips there, making sure we're coating everything. This is going to help your lashes to be just as black as the false lashes you're going to be putting on. So everything looks like it goes together, and it will give you a little bit more volume. If your lashes are black already, you can quite possibly avoid this step, just skip it all together. But if you don't have like true black lashes, I would go ahead and do this. If you do like volume though, do this and you'll get more volume from your false lashes. So again, just a matter of preference. Typically when I'm wearing lashes, I only do one coat of mascara. It's just unnecessary and uses product you don't need. All right, and that's fun. Do you see where I just touched the mascara on my eyelid? So let's go ahead and look at how you remedy that. So while it's still wet, like it is right now, I'm going to take the brush that I put that shadow on with, and I'm just going to blur that out. Ta-da! Never happened. Have to do that when it's still wet. So just give it a second and then take that off there. Okay, so now to the bottom lashes. Now they are not going to get any false lashes on there, so make sure that you give them good coverage. I'm going to be doing a nice thick coat on there. We're going to sweep up under the tips of those. And depending on the length of your lashes, you may actually need to look up a little bit so that you can have them stand at attention so you can mascara them. Make sure you go all the way to the outside corner. And we're going from root to tip. Okay. Same thing on the other side. So we're not pumping our brush, but we are swirling our brush. And then just wipe off that little tip thing. Okay. Again, we're going from root to tip, sweeping up under the bottom of those. All the way to the outside. Okay. When you feel like you have had good coverage on, what is going on today? I just mascaraed my finger. Okay. So when you feel like you've got your coverage on there, now we should be good to go for our lashes. So today I'm going to be using the Ardell. This is the Active Lash, and this is in the style of Gains. Really like these. These are a clear band. So no matter what skin tone you have, these are going to work for you to be invisible. One thing usually true about clear bands is that they tend to get a little pokey. They're actually, that little filament that they use tends to be a little less flexible and tends to be a little pokey. But because these are the Active Lash, they are not that way so much. So I really enjoyed these. This is going to be more of a natural lash, and they are designed to be durable. I have had these for quite some time, and they still work just as good as the day that I got them. So I'm going to take my lash tool. I'm going to grab that lash from the outside corner, and I'm just going to pull it off that tray there. If these are a new lash for you, like the first time that you have wore this pair, make sure that you're trimming from that outside corner so that that lash is short enough or long enough for your eyes. And I have a little something. There we go. Okay. These do not have a flare, meaning whoop, from this side to this side, they're about the same length of lash. On a flared lash, like this end would be shorter than this end. These are about the same. So what I just usually keep track of what side. When I take it off, I put it straight on the tray so I can tell which one is the inside corner or not, because these will form to your lash the more times that you wear them. These are, I believe they're supposed to be a 14-time wear, but I have seriously gotten way more than 14 times out of these. So if you take care of them and you put them back on their tray, you'll be good to go for quite a while. So I'm just going to grab that lash right there in the center, and we're going to take the Duo Active Lash Adhesive. This is a latex-free adhesive. We're going to go on the edge of that band, all the way from edge to edge. And then we're going to be right there on the inside of that band. Just a nice light coat. And this adhesive is made to withstand exercise. So I don't know. The one thing that it doesn't do that I can tell you is it doesn't help you to actually get out and exercise. Okay, but if you're one of those people that like to go to the gym with your lashes on, I would feel confident in saying try this pair. I just wouldn't do that myself. Okay, if you go to the gym, you get what you get. Okay, so we're gonna put that down. Once you give that a couple of seconds for it to dry just a little tiny bit, you'll notice that it goes from the white color it is to a little bit of a clearer color. I'm gonna take this and just kind of, you're just rolling it like that, because with this filament, they have a tendency to get a little stiff and form to your eye. Now, I do see on the back of this one, there we go, a little fun little treasure from whenever I wore these last. So I'm going to take this lash, I'm holding it right there in the middle. Because of how I have set it on the table, I know this is my inside corner. So I'm going to put it right in the middle, right on the liner line that we put on, and it's kind of sticky. There we go. So I'm going to grab the inside. Actually, because it just set funny, I'm going to grab the outside edge. We're going to grab that all the way, drag it down just a little bit. There we go. It's going to set it right on that liner line. I'm going to do that inside corner, set it right on that liner line. Gives you a nice, easy way to tell where your lash should be. Then I'm going to take the tip of this, work my lashes into it. Sometimes they kind of fold over a little bit. You got to manage them. This one's being a little ornery today. I'm going to smoosh my lash and that lash together. There we go. Here we go. Minimize that gap between your lashes and the false lashes. There we are. And it doesn't help that this morning my eye is watering like a crazy person. So you can see the difference between the two sides, the with the lash, without the lash. This one is a little intensity, but not too much, just a tiny bit. Again, we're going to roll this, just get that band softened up just a little bit. Going to grab that lash right there in the middle and set that down in the middle. There we go. Outside corner, right on that line, and then inside corner. Take the tip, work your lashes into it, and then we're going to make sure that they are in the same space, just smushing them together. And I'm not actually touching where the glue is. I'm staying just to the outside of that. I don't want to actually get glue on my tool. There you go. And then I just want to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. So we're just going to do that. We're just pressing down a little bit, making sure everything has made good contact. Okay. Now, I promised we were going to use a little bit of a shimmering highlighter. So I'm going to grab the Juvia's Place. This is the Heroin Glow. And this is just a really nice kind of rose gold shimmery. This looks beautiful on a little bit darker pigment skin. So jealous of you that have more pigment than I do, because this is going to be spectacular. This is an Anastasia A23. This is a highlighter brush. We're just going to swirl that around there. Going to go right on the top of the cheek, right beside the eye socket. Get that little shimmer goodness going on. It has a tiny, tiny bit of color, but not really, and it works very nicely with wine. Got a little bit of that kind of gold in there. I'm going to go up the center of the face. I'm just going to blend that out a little bit right there, but I love to see that on the nose. There you go. Yeah, that's just it. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. I love that shimmer. Okay, so that's the Heroin 3 highlighter. Okay, so Let's go ahead and say that verse together again, and then we will do our last step in our makeup process. We are waiting for that verse to roll around. Love the balance between the lips and the eyes today. How you feeling about it? Okay, so here we go. Verse is coming around now. If you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. So you'll get his help, and you won't be condescended to when asking for it. When you, asking for it. And ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master that way. James 1, 5-8. Wow, this one's going to be a little more exercise for that. So be looking for the song that is going to come out with that. That comes out on, I think, Saturday. So that'll be there for you. So let's go ahead and finish our last step. Our last step is going to be the Juvia's Place Ready, Set, Sealed setting spray. We're just going to give that a little shake. Man, that smells so good. That is going to set and keep everything in place all day. No muss, no fuss. You're not going to have to play with it. It is going to stay beautiful for you. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It has been a delight to hang out with you. I look forward to seeing you throughout the week on my website, a little bit makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. So we are going to take a look at our verses that we've been working on in James so far. So let me see. There we go. Okay, so the first week we were on, we had James 1:1. I, James, am a servant of God. Wait. I told you I get translations mixed up. I, James, am a slave of the master. Wait just a minute. I am a slave of God and the master Jesus. Thank you. Writing to the 12 tribes scattered to kingdom come. Hello. Sorry, it takes just a minute. Maybe I should have sung it to myself. Okay, and then the verse that we worked on last week. We worked on James 1, 2-4, and that is consider it a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. Okay, this is where I get messed for the for you. You know. Oh, man. You know that under pressure, your faith life shows its true colors. Shows its true colors. Okay, so don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work so you may be mature, well-developed, not deficient in any way. James 1, 2-4. Okay, it took me a second, but we got there. Okay, and now this week we're working on our new verse here. So if you don't know what you're doing, pray to the Father. He loves to help. You'll get his help, and you won't be condescended to when asking for it. Ask boldly, believingly, without a second thought. People who worry their prayers are like wind-whipped waves. Don't think you're going to get anything from the master that way. Adrift at sea, keeping all your options open. And that's James 1, 5-8. All right. And so all of our verses, again, are going to be coming from Color Me James. You can get over to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com and then go over to the shop, and that will get you to the books. Again, this is available in 3 different formats. So find the one that suits you and that is going to meet your needs the best. If you do choose the ebook, you're probably going to need 2 apps. You can use whatever two you want, but in the description of the ebook, it's going to tell you about Procreate, which is the app that will let you color into the coloring page. And then it's also going to talk about I think it's called Goodreads, and that will let you actually write an answer into the planner so that you can do the journal part with us. All right. So we've talked a little bit today about the Beauty and Grace Insider, and the Beauty and Grace Insider just extends what you've got going on here. So we've got 3 different levels. We've got the Divine Beauty, Precious Jewel, Cherished Queen. Every one of those loyalty levels has special badges. You have special emojis when you're on YouTube. If you do the Cherished Queen, you get the ebook as part of the first month of your membership. So that pays for itself first month out. So lots of ways that you can extend it. We have a whole community going on in there. And then you also get a lot of videos released ahead of time. And we're going to begin. We need to build the membership up just a little bit, but we're going to begin to have special sessions where we actually kind of talk through what it was that God spoke to us and what did it mean for you and what is your application from going through the book of James. So look forward to that coming in the near future. Oh, and we also already had our first contest. So that's fun. That was the nudes palette from Juvia's Place. So until we meet again, my friends, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And that comes from Numbers chapter 6, verse 24 through 26. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for every one of these ladies that has hung out with me here live, that has joined this podcast as it was recorded later. I just pray that you would bless each one of these women, Father, that you would help them to celebrate the fact that they were made a woman in the image of God. I just pray that you would help us to hide these words in our heart, that we would be diligent about our study and about our memorization. And that might mean different things to different people. And that is totally okay. You speak to each woman and have them do and memorize as you wish. Father, I just pray that you would bless us, that you would help us to go out and share these words that you have given us, that we wouldn't just keep them to ourselves. I mean, yes, we're supposed to hide them in our heart, but that we would share them with others as well as the occasion arises. I just pray that you would send us out this week and help us to celebrate in color being a woman. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. Well, it has been a delight to hang out with you this week, and I look forward to seeing you. Oh, you're so welcome. I look forward to seeing you through out this week and then on social media as well. So y'all have a great week. I will see you. I hope you're enjoying those daily videos that we're getting for our verse memorization, because I sure am enjoying making them and doing the activities. So y'all have a great week. Be blessed. Love you.